Let me see if I can hear. Can you hear me now? Woo! Look at that. I can even hear myself. Good morning, friends. It is. Well, I guess it's 10 a.m. here on the West Coast.
Yes, Pacific Standard Time.
So that means it's 11 noon or 1 o'clock. So maybe good afternoon, depending upon where you're located.
Yes.
Welcome to the first bout of day two of what are we doing here?
We are at the Big O International Roller Derby Tournament. It is a WFTDA recognized tournament, of course, and we have a fantabulous pairing of WFTDA teams bringing to you here as our 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time game. We have Boston Roller Derby's Boston Massacre versus Dock City Rollers Anchors, and Dock City hailing from Gothenburg, Sweden. And yesterday, I understand, loose change, that you had the opportunity to call for Dock City.
I did.
So
It was.
how did they fare?
They fared very well. They did not take home the win, but watching them, it was amazing. It was so much fun. You could tell how hard they were working together and really watching them gel as a team. Prior to yesterday, I had never seen them before. So it was super exciting to have the opportunity to announce and see them.
Well, I can relate, as this will be my first opportunity to observe Dock City on the track, but I'm sure that they will be just as fierce as yesterday. And today, Dock City will be wearing navy with red and white accents, and the Boston Massacre will be wearing white with blue accents. And without further ado, I don't know if I said this, but my name is Beautiful Banshee.
I am Loose Change.
And your Boston Massacre wearing white, number 11, Casey McLean, 120, Electrocute, 121, Agent Mulder, 1845, Lil Payne, 2, MC Slammer, 207, Cruliette Lewis, 2089, Small Fox, 21, Emily Nolan, 211, Lock Test Monster, 43, Caitlin Monahan, 451, Rage Bradbury, 517, Tiger Eye, 749, Wednesday Adams, 8, Aubrey Planets, 90, Lil Something, and they are coached by Obstinate, Mitochondria, Bo Tiny, and Surly Temple. Jam is on. We have an 11-11 jam. So,
Indeed.
Casey
That is
McLean.
Casey McLean going up against Fraulein F. Reckless.
Lead secured by Boston. So the pack in the back stretch, currently with a pairing of Planets, and I do believe Emily Nolan up at the front, able to burn the clock a hair on Fraulein. And the pack moving back to turn 2, working to contain Casey McLean. I do believe a 4-0 jam for Boston. Oh no, 4-1 for Dock City.
Looks like we've got a.
Oh, there's a correction in order. It was the color of the Jam Ref's wristband that threw me, but perhaps they're updating. We'll wait and see.
That was very, very fast. So let's go ahead and talk about Dock City Rollers Anchors. So they are out there in blue with the white and red accents. So skating today, we've got 101 Mad Maxine, 11 Fraulein F. Reckless, 12 Pelvis Wrestling, 14 is Spinosaurus, 18 is Bowden, 2 is Olean, 2077 Kafka, 31 Malice Babs, 33 Force Majeure, 414 A Crusher, 417 Tina Turner, 421 Patty from the Block, 48 Moran, 9 Billy Butter, and they are coached today by Sandy, Sally, and Carrie.
So it appears the official timeout that is in progress, which allowed us the perfect time to bring you the Dock City roster. So it worked out in a cosmic act, right? Currently, there appears to be a safety check occurring on the track as folks are searching for something. So, of course, our officials, their duty is to ensure the safety of the game, and that includes if something were to fall on the track. But it appears issue has been resolved, or maybe not. Okay. Well, the official timeout is about to draw to a close. Lock Test Monster setting up on our Eugene Weekly local and vocal jammer line up against, let's see who we have there, slightly hidden jammer, number 18 being Bowden from Dock City.
All right. Well, Derby World, if you are watching and want to chime in, feel free to at me, yell at me, whatever.
Don't yell at you.
I mean,
Oh.
sure, you can yell at me. I might not respond to it. Let's be realistic. I won't respond to it. But if you want to interact with us, feel free to find us at hashtag Big O 2019. You can always at me at Find Loose Change.
I love it. And currently my phone is elsewhere. Otherwise, I'd say at Beautiful Banshee. But, you can tag me too, and she'll check for me. But right now, back to the track. The jam is on after that official timeout. Bowden securing lead for Dock City. And an apex jump. Let's see, did it land inbounds? No. Cycling Bowden back near the jammer line. And Lock Test Monster has stashed the star, still working to escape on the initial. So both jammers really having work put forward for them. Oh, and a star pass has occurred on Boston for Caitlin Monahan. Bowden calls it. 2 points up for Boston. And let's see, we had a total of 4 on that jam for Dock City, and there was a correction as well. As I had thought, the scoreboard was corrected to reflect 6 points for Boston after those 2 and 5 for Dock City. So it was actually 4-1 in the first jam. Okay, the pack had given the jammer line some breathing room.
And so we've got Rage Bradbury out there going up against Moren. Rage Bradbury stuck at the back of that pack. Moren breaking free at the front. That is lead jammer going to Dock City Anchors Moren.
Lil something pivot for Boston Massacre off to our hit this penalty box. Before you hit the track, hit this. Not sure what this is, but okay.
I mean, it could technically be whatever you wanted it to be.
I say hit the track.
Okay, then I think that's great.
Hit a fellow skater on the track. There you go. 4 points up.
I enjoy how you added the on the track side of things.
Yes.
So I was like, oh.
I do not inspire violence, or at least I try not to.
There was a hot second there where I was like, Banshee?
Oh. Okay, we do have a star pass for Boston Massacre. Lil something has returned from the hit this penalty box and taking the star. So we'll see if any points are yielded. Total of 2 for Moren. I'm doing my best. Rolling R's is not my forte, so forgive me.
Well, it's super fun because
but
because I love the fact that they're from Sweden because then they have the umlauts, and when you've got the umlauts and like the multiple R's, the O's and the A's and stuff kind of turn into one another, and then the aspect of it.
You fancy.
It's one of the few things I can do good.
Ooh. Okay, so our next jam, we are already in jam 4. That is Small Fox. With the star for Boston, though, let's see. Froline F. Reckless jamming for Dock City. Through the pack, little under a quarter lap behind Small Fox. So we are going to see that foot race continue.
It's a race, everybody likes a race. especially when there's points involved.
Oh, most definitely. And we know team with the most points wins. So all of the fun, all of the points, and seeing just great outcome for Dock City as they are now double the Boston score. So 24-12 after 4 points to Boston 6.
Now that my brain has started to slightly wake up, I have been furiously trying to figure out, because I feel like Dock City in their last bout that I called yesterday won now, and so I have so much derby going through my brain that it's getting confused in there. So I'm verifying that.
Just to confirm, the Big O Facebook page, not the event page, but the one that is actually the Big O. That page has photos of all the scoreboards from yesterday, in case you were looking to catch up. I do know that, but Casey McLean at the front of the pack does get shoved to the infield at the turn 1 apex, being taken to the line by Dock City's braced 2-wall at the front of the pack. And if I'm not mistaken, yes, we have Bowden serving a penalty, so it is a power jam at the moment for Massacre. Lead declared, but at 46 seconds in, so Dock City's defense really burning the clock, working things to their advantage. Now at the front of the pack, we have Lil Sum along with Emily Nolan and Aubrey Planets. Oh, and Cruliette Lewis, I believe. Oh no, I do see Cruliette Lewis, no Planets on this gym. Wednesday Adams is in there, sneaking up. And a little something off to the penalty box for Boston. And at the front of the pack, Bowden has stashed the star, but facing off against Crew and Nolan, and that is definitely a destructive duo. Can definitely work on jammers in a way that leaves them a little sore.
One thing that I thoroughly enjoy is the fact that, as you are from the East Coast, you are well familiar with this team.
Yes.
And have the ability to add tiny little insights. So thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome.
Also,
Sorry.
I want to say, I'm a liar. I'm a
Oh.
cheat. I'm a dirty, dirty thief. Not really. But I was wrong.
Dirty deeds done dirt cheap.
Yeah, buddy. Dock City yesterday did pick up the win over V-Town. That was 247-62.
Wow. Boom goes the
Because-
dynamite. Way to set the
Right.
tone.
I know. And I was like, as soon as I was like, wait, did they lose? No, they didn't lose. My brain. There's
Well-
so much derby in there.
Forgive us, because I know if I did not... I actually was a little short on sleep last night, and it's only because of the time change. I'm not complaining one bit, because for some reason today, I'm eerily awake.
That's good.
Yeah,
I mean,
plus coffee.
yeah, man. So you want to talk about somebody who's eerily awake?
Moran.
When we are talking about time changes, Moran the team coming from Sweden, going up against Lactes Monster. So Lactes Monster pushing at the front of the pack there, finally breaks through, clears that initial pass. Moran stuck behind those blockers in white, sees Lactes Monster coming and calls it, but not before picking up those 2 awesome points for the Anchors. So Dock City pulling out a little bit ahead, 26-19. It's only a 7-point difference right now. And when you consider the fact that Boston is ranked 33 as of March, because March 31st.
March 31st, 2019.
So Boston is ranked 33. Dock City is 46.
That's correct. So, still within the same neighborhood, and I think it's great because it really speaks to the core defense on each roster. And of course, it's going to be a grudge match through and through. They've proven it already. And Brad, aka Rage Bradbury, working to bust the seam in the back of the pack against Dock City. But right up front, Malice Babs, I believe, with the star for the first time in this game this morning.
I think so.
Working the front, and it pays off for them, taking lead.
We've got 2 blockers for Boston going to hang out in the hit this Derby gear penalty box. So this is going to give Malice Babs, a great little advantage.
There was a star pass to Wednesday Adams, and they were completely wise to it on Dock City Anchors. So we're seeing Adams get out of there, though no points. A team timeout being called by Mitochondria, coach for Boston Massacre.
So Mitochondria has some awfully nice heels out there.
Okay, so fun thing. Smite brings the chic look every game for Massacre.
I mean, those are like 2-inch heels.
Yes.
I can't wear, like, I'm wearing Crocs right now because I'm an adult. And like
Smite runs in those heels as well on game day. I have seen Smite run in those heels. This is not a fabrication. Boston fans know what's up.
Hey, Smite, if you're listening to this, which I'm assuming you are, can I hire you to train me on how to walk in heels?
Professional heel strut coach?
Yeah, because
or how
I
to
would
run in
hire
heels?
you for that.
Well,
I mean, you could teach me how to run to begin with, too.
It's probably...
Because let's do that before I try to run in heels.
I will say, Mitochondria is a skater for Mass Maelstrom. We know him better as Pickering. And yes, it could be the edge work on skates that attributes to skill in heels. I don't know. We'll have to test that at some point. But
Science.
We're heading back to the track. So Dock City at 33, Boston at 19. Jam is on, and lead acquired by Fräulein F. Reckless of the Anchors.
Small Fox out there still stuck behind that tripod of blockers for Boston. Meanwhile, Dock City, Fräulein F. Reckless with that inside line for a quick little 4 points there. Small Fox. Did Small Fox get through? Small Fox was that fast?
Well, Small Fox did get out, and yes, she is quite speedy, though no points to her credit. So Dock City, they pick up 8, and Boston 0 on that, so it was unanswered. 41-19 at current, and we are about 11 minutes into period 1, so almost a quarter of the way through. And we have a sequential number jammer pairing, 11 and 12. That is Casey McLean versus Pelvis Wrestley. First time wearing the star in this game for the Anchors.
When I was chatting with Pelvis yesterday, I apologized. I was like, I'm going to screw your name up very much. And they just sort of giggled. Thus far, I have not. So I'm going to see how long that lasts.
Well, I mean, the first thing I can think of, and this is the high school theater nerd in me, is an adaptation of Sandra Dee from Grease. Pelvis, let me be. Keep that Elvis fa from me. But, and there has been a star pass from Pelvis Wrestley to number 2, Oljan, on the Anchors. We'll see how that pays off for Dock City. 0 on that jam. So Boston picking up 3 from Casey McLean. 22 for Boston, 41 Dock City. I couldn't resist.
I mean, it was only a matter of time before one of us brought up something related to musical theater. So,
yeah,
I mean,
happens.
we lasted 12 minutes. So, high five for that.
Yeah.
What up? Yeah, we're nerds.
It's all right. And that is
okay
part of the fun here. You can be the biggest nerd you like, especially derby nerding, at the Big O 2019. And
Moren is out there with the star for those Dock City Anchors with Casey McLean, for Boston.
Now Moren ducking underneath the wall in back from Boston, though at the same time seeing them get caught up. But Loch Monster with a quick little hippity hop over the turn 2 apex. Oh, it was turn 1. I apologize. I'm confused by this camera angle versus where I'm positioned. Okay, in the back stretch, we have Boston at the front working to slow the pack, though Loch Monster able to spin up the straightaway, gets out. A little trip up coming from Dock City.
So that is number 211, Loch Monster with the star, picking up 8 points so far since she's lead jammer. Meanwhile, we have had, it looks like, another star pass as well for Dock City. So that would be Tina Turner. That is number 417 now, jammer of note for the Dock City Anchors.
Tess able to escape an additional pass, or I should say successfully complete an additional pass. 12 points so far for Boston. 4 for Dock City. Tina Turner getting caught up in Cruliette Lewis, Emily Nolan, and Lil Sum. They're able to draw back near the pivot line.
And Boston calling it off. 16 points there for Boston, 7 for Dock City. This brings us to a 10-point game. I'll be honest, 2 jams ago, I would have said, I would have hypothesized if I looked into my magical crystal ball and say that we're going to have Dock City run away with this. It's going to be another like 200, something like that. I am going to be wrong, and I'm excited because this is...
the facial
I love
expressions,
to be wrong.
I can just say this right now. The facial expressions on Loose Change throughout this game so far have been priceless. But of course, just not something I want to point out. But right now I can mention it because things that you were observing. But an extremely quick jam. That yielded 0 points for either team. But I wanted to point out, Loch Ness Monster's 16-point jam, if I am not mistaken, was the highest scoring jam in this game for Boston. Dare I say for both teams. I'm not sure if we had one that scored more for Dock City. But
I don't think so.
And I'm peeking over at our friends on the house, and Johnny Pepper is getting down to whatever grooves are being spun by DJ Lady Scratch here in the house. So even though I can't necessarily catch it in these headphones, I'm enjoying the atmosphere.
I mean, it is a great atmosphere here down at the Big O 2019. We are super lucky to have all sorts of teams and rankings, both from the WFTDA, MRDA, and the JRDA. Right now on that track, Moren picking up that lead jammer.
And force majeure off to the hit this penalty box. Before you hit the track, hit this. And that was due to a back block against Boston's jammer, Casey McLean, who was basically being locked down by the anchors, truly living up to their name on the lines, just not giving any room.
So one of the things, so now, again, because my brain is starting to come back,
yes.
My trusty coffee has been kicking in. So one of the things with Dock City last time, if my memory serves, is it was very, very, very quick jams. I think in one half we had 29 jams because it was like get through, lead, 4 points, call it, and then move on to the next. It's super exciting to see that they're letting this run.
And I have to put it out there, LC. This is the jammer debut of Lil Payne back at the Big O. For those who don't know, Lil Payne was a Massacre member for many seasons and took a little break for life things. And there's a baby Lil Payne now, but she is back on the track, and we've seen her as a strong blocking presence this weekend and in the season thus far. But right now, Jammer Star is on Lil Payne's head up against Malice Babs of Dock City. So it's something that would make the folks back on the East Coast pretty excited.
Well, I am glad that the East Coast is excited. I am sure that Gothenburg is excited to be watching their Dock City anchors. Sitting at 50 points right now. Boston Massacre able to pick up those 7, putting them at a 45. So we are currently sitting at a 5-point game with just under 12 and a half minutes remaining in this first half.
We have Moren up again from Dock City up against Rage Bradbury, better known to most of you as Brad. So Moren able to get up front, getting caught up in the brace 2 wall just past the pivot line from Boston. And in the back, Brad being taken to the lines by Dock City's anchors. Not a whole lot of daylight, but Brad trying to force it out with their shoulders.
Oh my goodness, look at that line work,
I know.
recycling. Such good ability to double check and keep track of where you are, who hit you out, where you need to go, as our jammers and blockers are hitting and recycling them. Both of the jammers, as you can see, stuck behind those walls. And of course, as I say it, Moren gets through, picks up that lead jammer. There was a multiplayer block going to one of the Boston Massacre blockers. Looks like that was number 90.
A little something.
A little something. So little something's hanging out in that hit this roller derby gear penalty box.
And the thing that you had mentioned about Boston in the front there and how Moren had been really having to work on that. Boston's defense, the way of finagling the shape around Moren, that was quite amazing, and we've seen other teams, they've been doing it as well, but seeing Adams specifically as that Gumby-esque figure amongst the trio, and all of a sudden you see, okay, armpit is here. Very conscientious Adams is about the points of contact, and something else we didn't throw out there yet, LC. You know what today is.
Oh, I'm very well aware of what today
I know,
is.
because you have an excellent ensemble. Friends, may we wish you the
Oh,
best
good.
4th.
May 4th.
May the 4th be with you.
Small Fox out there with the star, but that is Fraulein F. Reckless that picks up a lead for those Dock City Anchors. Fast moving pack right now as all of those blockers are working to get into position. Fraulein picking up, I think, a couple of points, 2 points there.
And just one for Massacre at the time. So 54 for Dock City, 46 for Boston Massacre on a 2-1 jam.
Fraulein F. Reckless, I actually just noticed this, and I'm going to have to keep a little bit more attention. The reason that she did let it run as long as they did is they were waiting for some of their folks to come out of that penalty box.
Sometimes it's a necessity. You want to start with a full line because it can only help you.
You want all those wheels on the track.
Most definitely. And right now, Bowden wearing the star for the Dock City Anchors, and Casey McLean for Boston. But Bowden, they take lead, and over in turn 1, we still have McLean fighting against the Anchors' braced 2-wall. 4 points up for Bowden.
Two blockers in that hit this derby penalty box. That is the second pass for Bowden thus far, picking up 8 points. Nice little apex jump there.
Now, Nolan and Planets of Boston just released from that hit this penalty box, but Wednesday Adams pivot off to have a seat right before the jam ended, so there will be a 4-3 pack advantage in favor of the Dock City Anchors.
Dock City picking up 11 points there, holding the Boston Massacre scoreless.
And our officials doing a fantabulous job being able to tabulate the stats and whatnot. And right now we have an official timeout.
Fancy that you should mention officials when we're having an official timeout. Let's go ahead and talk about them.
That's exactly what I was hoping. Yay! So we have a great crew with us this morning. Jen Zotker, Bambi Lance, Dylan, Il Presidente, Ren Stoke, Whack Job, Don Scorleone, Lauren Order, Snarkomedes, Sister Violence, Scissor Switch, Snapdragon, Masquerade, Queen of Catitude. Sorry, I couldn't help it. I love it. Locomotive, Heads Will Roll, Toad, and Gorham Browncoat. It is Catterday after all. Catterday, May the 4th, and I also heard it is Free Comic Book Day.
I know.
There's so much happening.
I know. I'm a little bit bummed that it's Free Comic Book Day and I'm not back home because I've got a couple of comic book shops that I like to frequent. So
Maybe we need to find one in Eugene.
shout
Friends,
out to Uncle Sven's in St. Paul.
well, Derby Twitter friends, if you know of a comic book shop in the area to
yes.
direct us to, please. We would love to know.
Derby Twitter, at me, if you know of a good place to hook me up with some comic books while my time is here. Twitter's at with Find Loose Change, please.
And Loch Test Monster, not worried about any sort of free comic books, but she'll take all those free points. Going for the apex jump after securing lead jammer status with Moran. And we have a cutting the track penalty assessed to Loch Test Monster. So Dock City and Moran will have a power jam. Yes, indeed, they do. So right around the outside with a shirt whip from a teammate. Moran is out, picks up 4. A tentative pack in the backstretch, picking up a little bit of speed as the brace 2 wall of Massacre blockers aiming to avoid the pick coming from Dock City. An additional scoring pass completed by Dock City. Adams, Monahan, Mall, and company at the front of the pack, working to lock it down. A 4-blocker swarm on Moran, but in the back, Loch Test Monster is back, and it is 3-on-1 there coming from Dock City's defense. The Loch Test Monster pushing their defense up past, oh no. It does appear that we had a penalty. I saw direction gameplay against Wednesday Adams. So now we have pivot and jammer in the box to start Jam 18 with just under 6 minutes remaining in period 1.
So earlier today, when we were kind of prepping for this and going through the rosters, you complimented me when it came to the current jammer of note for the Boston Massacre, Loch Test Monster,
Yes.
for getting the monster part of it.
Yes.
I have to say, I have 2 credits to give. One to my brother, who lives in Boston now. What up?
Hi, Pac.
But also because my brother and sister-in-law have taken me to a wonderful cookie truck in Boston. It's called Cookie Monster.
Oh, yes, I've heard of it. I
Yeah.
have not had it, but yeah.
That's, because it's food related, obviously.
I mean,
That's how I can do it.
send me where the good food is.
Right.
I'm all about that.
Exactly.
So hashtag WFTDA chomps. What?
Carolina for Reckless with a star and lead for Dock City Anchors. Well, looks like we've got Loch Test Monster out of the box now, working through that pack. It threw me off for just a second because I didn't see a star out there.
Yes.
She had done a little bit of a star stash.
And though, to be fair, and yes, go ahead, to be fair, just like Letterkenny, some folks out there will get that. Loch Test Monster, still pretty easy to spot, despite she did get a little low, but she's her stature is nice and tall, so usually
I'm
it's
not
your
going to
pop-up.
lie. I love when tall people put skates on and they
Yes.
get even taller.
It's amazing.
I'm just like, yeah,
I mean, I'm
reach
not,
for the stars. You can do it.
as a person who is quote-unquote average height of 5'6", I love when I put skates on because it makes me feel like a giant. I was like, I feel so powerful. This is great. But then again, I get to hit people on skates too, so it's fun. But speaking of fun, Small Fox out there with the star for Boston, up against Bowdoin, and it looks like there is a supreme mosh pit right in the halfway mark of turns 1 and 2. The veritable derby mosh pit, of course, because blockers flying left, right, and everywhere. Right now, MC Slammer went to the back of the pack. Small Fox still working to get through. We'll see if she gets any offense, but Bowdoin with lead on the scoring pass right now.
Bowdoin with a great attempt there for an apex jump. Did not quite land it. Ended up on the inside. Wanted to recycle. Always better to be safe than sorry. You know, you wanna make sure you don't pick up any of those penalties, especially when you're picking up points. So Bowden recycles and comes through at another attempt to pick up some points. Let's see what we got. Oh, it's another 3. So that is a total of 7 this jam for those Dock City Anchors. Boston holding steady at that 50 points. We're looking at 2.5 minutes left in this first half. Oh my gosh. This, like, I feel like every time I watch roller derby this weekend, it just keeps getting faster and faster and shorter. Because I'm like, we're already at the 2-minute mark almost.
Right. We've only had maybe 1-2 official timeouts.
Yeah.
And it was purely for safety. And so no major clock stoppages, no extended official reviews, because both teams, we're seeing now
Both teams are here to roller derby.
Relatively clean skating, though there was a big hit just then coming from Lil Sump, who was the pivot for Boston off to the penalty box. I do believe that may have been an illegal contact penalty because the hit was done out of play. But Pack moving into the back stretch, working to take McLean to the lines. She is out, though. Dock City able to call, and no points picked up for Boston on that, but they pick up 3. So make it 4. 96 for Dock City, over 50 for Boston. And wow, as it ticks right down, I just noticed we have a little hashtag in the corner there, hashtag Big O Track 1. I didn't know that was a thing. I just knew hashtag Big O 2019.
That's
Please.
in the other corner.
Yes, in the other corner.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, such crackerjack stream work here we do. It's such high quality. It's lovely. So thanks to the production crew here at the Big O.
Lactes Monster back out there with the star, going up against Malice Babs. Lactes stuck at the back. Lactes working. My goodness, there's it's a 3, 2 of 4, and whatnot. But Malice Babs at the front there, able to work it through first, picking up that lead, clears the initial pass, and now Malice is looking for some points.
Now, Lil Something comes springing out of the penalty box, starts attacking the links presented by Dock City's Anchors. It does alleviate the pressure against Lactes Monster momentarily, though they regroup right in front of her. She does make the trip through. The no points for Boston, 4 for Dock City. And again, we're looking at that double the score being maintained at a few different points in the game by Dock City. They're at 100, Boston at 50.
Real quick, so I want to just give a shout out to a couple of these blockers for Dock City. Before we go into this halftime,
Yes.
Number 2 Oyan and number 414 A Crusher
Yes.
have been just doing it out there every
Clutch.
time.
Absolutely clutch.
100%.
Yeah.
My goodness, this has been such good roller derby. Okay, so we've got about 9.5 minutes left for friends. Go get something to drink. Go get a little snack, or lunch, whatever you need. Boston sitting at 50. Dock City is at 100.
And we just want to remind you, in addition to having the Hit This Derby Gear penalty box, we'd like to thank Rydell. Rydell, make sure that you experience the game-changing Solaris. That's the performance you demand, the comfort you've been missing. And also for Chicks and Bowls, they are online. Visit cibcrew.com and use sale code BIG OH YEAH for 10% off hardware, such as slide blocks and wheels, active until the end of the Big O weekend. And Loose Change and I will be back in about 8 minutes.
Huh, what about ads? I don't see any ads.
Hit This was on the screen, but right now you are looking at the Boston Massacre bench.
And us. Wait, hi.
No, we're not, and that's okay.
Hi.
No. The skaters, yes. There we go. Oh, look, it's Dorcas Maximus. She's going to hate me for pointing that out.
It's like you know them or something.
I can't help it. No. I think it's funny because I promised Dorcas that I wouldn't embarrass her on the stream.
Oh, let's talk about Dorcas all day then.
No, we will leave her be. But yeah. So in this case, we are coming back. We have just over a minute until gameplay resumes, and we head into period 2 here for the Dock City Anchors versus Boston Massacre. And the way we left it was 100 points for Dock City and 50 points for Boston.
So,
At the end of period 1,
let's see. Gosh, I was, you know what? I totally dropped the ball. I was going to go and check out some penalties.
well, from what I hear, we have a sweet penalty overlay here on track 1. So we'll see if we can get that for you so we can take a look and see where folks stand. But that's all right. But needless to say, we are going to get back to it. And we have a great schedule coming up as well. And next at this track, we have not one track, not 2 tracks, but 3 here at the Big O International Roller Derby Tournament 2019. Live from Eugene, Oregon. It is a WFTDA recognized tournament. And of course, the point of a WFTDA recognized tournament is to present various tournament formats, and it's hosted by member leagues and promoting high quality roller derby content. And that is most definitely what we have before you.
All right, so we've got both teams fielding skaters out there on the track. That is our first whistle. Boston fielding what looks to be a new jammer. Nope, that is Casey McLean again out there. And we've got number 11. That is the Casey McLean. And that's Fraulein F. Reckless, number 11 as well. So we have a delightful 11v11 happening, with Fraulein F. Reckless picking up that lead, but hit to the outside, recycling, coming up against number 2, MC Slammer. Looks like that is Wednesday Adams as well, contributing to that amazing blocking that is just stymieing Fraulein F. Reckless.
That's right, Pack extending out into turn 2. And I did some investigation.
Ooh.
We'll have a penalty overlay shortly, so we can talk about that because it is relevant to what we're seeing play out on the track. But right now, Fraulein F. Reckless making an additional scoring trip, a total of 8 points in this jam. So right now, Boston's defense locking it down in the front mid-back stretch. Force majeure in the hit this penalty box. Before you hit the track, hit this. Just don't hit me. I'm going to take and run with that, you know. Got to crash through that door like the Kool-Aid man. Oh, yeah. But in the front of the pack, we're seeing Adams with her hands in the air, but it's not because she just don't care. She's being incredibly cognizant of contact zones with Fraulein. Jam reaches its conclusion. We'll see the total of points that have been accrued. 11 for Dock City's anchors, courtesy of Fraulein. And that takes them to 111. And Boston sitting at 50.
We've got Morin with the star out there going up against Small Fox. Both of these teams, you know, it's been what? Basically like a 3-jammer rotation.
Yes.
That they've been throwing up there every so often. You know, somebody needs a little bit of relief. But, you know, so we've definitely seen this matchup before.
Right, so it's been Morin, Bowden, and Fraulein for the most part for the Dock City anchors. And on Boston, we've observed Small Fox, Loch Ness Monster, and Rage Bradbury. Right now, Juliette Lewis with the drawback, though does hit the floor as drawing back Morin, but it appears we had a penalty assessed to Juliette Lewis, headed to the hit this penalty box. And at current, Morin still fighting it out against Aubrey Planets and Emily Nolan, working for the sweep right in that turn 1 apex. And Small Fox able to make the pass, putting up 4 points. First amount of points put up by Boston in the second period. Aubrey Planets to the penalty box. And currently, Moren facing Emily Nolan, who was going for the hip to the infield, but not quite close enough to that line. 4 points on the scoring trip for Moren. Kafka with some sweet shoulder shove-in right at Jam's end for Dock City.
So Hay Sparks out there on the Derby Twitterverse.
I'm sorry.
So one of the things that we've been talking about is interacting, and if you want to know something, want to do something, our sweet jam timer out there is none other than the wonderful Sister Violence, who is kicking butt and taking names as she's throwing up those 5 seconds.
You can play with it.
Sister Violence from Perth roller derby, so that's super exciting.
I apologize if there was any background noise. I was just getting some information. So did we showed some love to our favorite jam timer out there? Super
Absolutely. Absolutely. A little pain with the star, but it is Bowden with that lead status for Dock City.
And we're seeing Patty from the Block and company taking Lil Payne to the lines. Though MC Slammer going in to work a little but 2077 Kafka really just doing everything possible in conjunction with their fellow blockers to keep Lil Payne contained in that corner. And we are seeing really Lil Payne being held by 33. That would be force majeure, current pivot for the Anchors. I mean, really, Anchors are the most appropriate name ever for Dock City, just based upon this defense.
I mean, truth in advertising.
Yeah.
So
Truly embodying the name that they have adopted. And right now, mid backstretch, brace 2 wall being held down again by force majeure, along with Kafka drawing back Lil Payne into turn 2. Meanwhile, back in turn 2, Bowden pushing out the Boston defense. We'll see if that, Bowden landed out of bounds. 4 points up. That was for Dock City, so a total of 11, taking them to 126. Boston held scoreless. 57 points is where they remain.
So again, Boston Massacre hailing from obviously Boston. Dock City hailing from the wonderful Gothenburg, Sweden. We talked a little bit about this earlier with the where I had stuffs. I got too much paper happening
We
here.
were talking about their rankings.
Yes,
46.
Dock City 46, Boston 33.
And 33, the number of Larry Bird, iconic Celtics player, from back in the day in Boston. I just find that interesting. But right now, penalty assessed to Loch Ness Monster.
I'm glad you like your sports.
I don't. I like roller derby. Here's the thing. I'm steeped in Boston sports culture at home. I'm just going to say there's a certain animal reference that stands for greatest of all time that I am incredibly over. So I heart roller derby so much. But speaking of great, Malice Babs for Dock City on a second scoring trip, 8 points to their credit.
All right, so we've got that is A Crusher being released from the penalty box. Will be rejoining the rest of the teammates out there. Meanwhile, both jammers are just stuck behind those walls of blockers. A Crusher doing what they do best, coming in and just breaking that wall up, giving Malice Babs the opportunity to get through, picking up.
Well, Malice Babs took a big shoulder hit from 21 Emily Nolan. And fun fact, Emily Nolan, before going by her legal name, her derby name's Malice Paul. So malice on malice. contact that just occurred. Okay, all the way back into turn 2, Malice Babs, but a cautious pack just rolling back to them.
So we're going to be rolling into Jam 5 here. We're about 9 minutes in. Dock City currently sitting at 138, Boston's 57.
And loose change. I see that something started up yesterday. I actually heard about this on top of what I've got noted in front of us about sending pictures of your pets enjoying the Big O from home. Hashtag Big O Cats and hashtag Big O Dogs. We love to see our furry fans. Well, I also heard that turned into hashtag Big O Rats and a bunch of other fun pets like Big O Iguanas. Rippy Longstocking and Julius Sleazer had a little bit of fun with that. And also, Julius Sleazer became part of the hashtag.
If we could do a hashtag Big O Snack, because if you have a snack friend, I will be very happy to see your snack friend. I do not want to touch it or pet it, but I like to go, aw, cute snack, over the internets.
Oh, to pretend that you booped the snoot?
Yep, exactly.
Aw, so cute. But what is not cute is the fact that Dock City, no points on that jam. They are held at 138, but Boston picked up 461. Right now is where they sit. But, of course, ideally, they would like to be a little closer to Dock City. But I'm pretty sure the anchors have something to say about that. And we had been talking about penalties and all. We didn't get to it at the time during halftime. But we do have, for penalties, one blocker on Boston with 5. Looks like we have Lil Something sitting at 5. Aubrey Planets with 4. Everyone else has 3 or less. And as far as max penalties on the Dock City side of things, we only have 2 blockers with 3 penalties apiece. That would be Kafka and Force Majeure. Everyone else is held to 2 or less. So definitely seeing how it's impacting things on the scoreboard and perhaps a cleaner remainder of the game.
Maren out there with the star. 4 points so far. Small Fox with the star in hand. Nice little hip check to that outside by Olean. Recycling Small Fox with the assist by Mad Maxine and a third blocker that I can't quite make out. I think that was Spinosaurus. That was putting together a very wonderful tripod.
Yes. It most definitely was, because all of a sudden, as you said Spinosaurus, they turned, and I saw the number 14. Someone in-house is doing karaoke for the one lonely blocker. I don't know where the one lonely blocker was. But right now, Moran in the penalty box. The hit this penalty box, of course. And one Boston blocker, Monahan, was standing, just released. So pack in the back stretch. We have Boston taking the front. That's Aubrey Planet's Cruliette Lewis. And toward the back, we have Monahan hopping in to attack some links and assist Small Fox. A total of 7 points for Small Fox to 12 points for Moran. That takes Dock City to 150 to Boston 68. And we are almost done with the third quarter of the game. Unbelievable, just the pacing.
Mm-hmm.
Did we get any of those snacks on Derby Twitter for you?
Oh, I should probably check, because that would be important.
Yes.
Rage Bradbury is out there with the star for Boston. Bowden with the star for the Anchors.
Agent Mulder able to get a hip on Bowden, though Bowden just seems to take the momentum and propel straight forward. 4 points up for them on the initial scoring trip. And Brad off to the penalty box for Boston. So that means a power jam awarded to Bowden and the Anchors of Dock City.
So the only thing that I'm finding on the interwebs is from 2017, hashtag Big O Snack. Um, come on, friends, let's do this.
Well, some folks still waking up. They're getting going. It is Saturday after all.
That's true. That's true. 3 points adding to Dock City's, bringing them to 7 for that jam.
And just a reminder, make sure you visit derbywarehouse.com for all of your roller derby gear needs with free shipping and free returns. I mean, who doesn't like that low price of free $99? I know it's my favorite. And of course, WFTDA tournaments provide everyone who loves roller derby an opportunity to witness the most anticipated matchups of the year. Get all of the info at WFTDA.com/tournaments. All right. Over in turn 2, moving into the backstretch, we have Boston's defense regrouping. That is Cruliet Lewis, along with Emily Nolan, working to slow down Fräulein F. Reckless. But only a few seconds are burned. Lead, and I do believe oh, no, that was just the initial trip. And lead given, or should I say taken, by Fräulein F. Reckless.
Earned?
Earned. Achieved.
Achieved. Unlocked.
Snagged.
Snag. I like achievement unlocked.
Achievement unlocked. I do like that.
I feel that's very D&D.
Yes. All right, let's do that up. Keeping with the nerd theme. It works.
Also, I'm not above. Shout out to hashtag Team Viper. That is my D&D group.
Awesome. Good for you.
I
have just recently started to learn about D&D.
It's super fun.
I know.
I'm really,
I
really
hear.
bad at it because it's my first foray, but I enjoy it.
I feel like your first campaign.
Yes,
I do know what a campaign is.
that's good.
I have some friends who are into the D&D, and I've picked up bits and pieces, but one of these days, when I'm not doing all of the derby things, maybe the derby D&D can take place.
All right, well, we've got an official time out happening right meow. It's not a official review yet, from what I have been said, but there are captains and coaches in the middle, it appears, of some sort. So, we will hopefully be able to maybe be told about what's going on. In the meantime, please again let us see all of your pets. Hashtag Big O Cats. Hashtag Big O Dogs. Banshee has abandoned me and is just dancing now.
I did not abandon you. Blame Johnny Pepper because he was belting out "Talk Dirty to Me" by Poison. That's currently being, put over the speakers by DJ Lady Scratch.
I don't know if I need to join. I don't know if I need to blame Johnny, blame you, or blame Lady DJ Scratch.
Yeah.
But I feel like all three of you, I'm
Shenanigans.
throwing you guys all under the bus.
Gosh.
It's all your fault.
See, why you gotta be such an adult? I'm kidding. I know.
I don't want an adult.
I know. But you know what? We are announcing, and we are professional amateurs after all. And
Official amateurs. I like that a lot.
Professional amateurs.
Professional amateurs.
Yes, that is us. And because, that is how we roll. Ha, boom.
I mean, that's how they roll.
How they roll. All right. And Malice Babs versus Casey McLean off of the Eugene Weekly Local and Vocal Jammer line. That is lead picked up by Casey McLean, now on a scoring trip. And we'll see where Malice Babs is. Oh.
Looks like Casey McLean is going to be heading to the Hit This Derby Gear penalty box. I did not see the hand
Neither
signal.
did I. Yeah. Either way, it happened.
Yep. I'm going to assume that she rolled a natural 1, and therefore that's...
Oh, really? Really committing to the D&D.
I mean, sure, why not?
But right now, back in the backstretch just after turn 2, and we are seeing pivot number 2 from the anchors. That is Olean really getting in there to break things up, then regrouping with their line. And this, okay, we have Brad in the pack along with MC Slammer and Lil Something.
So Casey McLean was released from that penalty box, and now the mini packs have smushed together to form a mega pack.
And that is Tina Turnher for Dock City, having a seat in the Hit This penalty box. A cutting the track penalty has been assessed to Casey McLean, so she'll have a seat. And that leaves Malice Babs with the power jam, even though Star stashed. Going to make good use of the time.
Malice Babs, just getting the heave-ho, and good golly.
So Adams and Lil at the front of the pack for Boston, doing what they can to take down Malice Babs. Looks like they were swept out in turn 1, but jam is over, and perhaps just a little shoulder to the face happened accidentally. We could see as Malice Babs came off the track of her own accord, but sometimes that's smart. You know, you catch sometimes a wrist guard to the throat. Not a good time.
And so with Casey McLean in that penalty box, we've got a power start for Morin.
Aubrey Planes to the penalty box for Boston. Lead achieved for Morin. Tentative pack between turns 1 and 2. Seeing a little bit of a pile up there. Nolan taken to the infield. Meanwhile, regrouping in the back with Casey McLean, seeing what she can do to assist. It appears we have had a star pass to Monahan, who is shoved to the infield by number 14. That is Spinosaurus. Some effective blocking, along with Force Majeure and company.
A crusher out there with the Spinosaurus, and that is Olean. And who is that Tina Turner maybe? Or no, maybe that's Kafka. That is Kafka.
Mm-hmm.
Just doing all the blocking all the things,
All of the people.
stopping all the people's momentums.
So 3 points up on the last scoring trip for Dock City and Marin. So that was a total of 11 points on the jam. 178 for the Dock City Anchors, 72 for Boston Massacre. We do have a team timeout called by Boston. Oh, no, I apologize. It was an official timeout. So if you have the opportunity to pay us a visit, if you're relatively local and you happen to be watching because you can't stand to miss a second of the Big O 2019.
Which no one can.
I mean, nobody can. But if you have the ability, if you're in the Eugene, Oregon area, come on down to the Lane Event Center. There are all sorts of things happening aside from the games, but the gameplay is incredible this weekend, as mentioned earlier. Not only is there Women's Flat Track Derby Association gameplay, there's Men's Roller Derby Association gameplay, as well as juniors. So definitely stop by. We have 3 tracks with games going all day long for all 3 days. And we are on day 2 right now. This is the first game of day 2.
One of the things that's always super, super great and exciting with WFTDA tournaments is it gives everybody the opportunity that loves roller derby to witness some just amazing matchups. So like last night, I was super lucky. I got to announce in-house for the Denver versus New Skids on the Block Montreal bout. I mean, so there's so many tournaments like this going on. So feel free to go to WFTDA.com/tournaments and learn all about the different tournaments that you can go watch, not only in person but online as well.
Okay, jam is on. Bowden with the Dock City Anchors securing lead, and low pain for Boston out on the track with the star, though Bowden makes the quick call off, taking a small gain if possible, though let's see, I'm seeing 0 points for Boston. A little bit of confusion coming off the track from Dock City. It appears 0 points. Oh, no, a total of 4.
You know, one of the things the officials, my goodness, my hat is off to all of you wonderful officials out
Yes.
there. You do some darn good work. Thank you for everything that you do.
Seriously, it assists us in being able to bring accurate information to the fans, but also for those of us who like to, note all the little nerdy things about roller derby. But how about Fräulein F. Reckless's trip through the pack? 4 points to their credit. There was a quick zigzag and a hop the way that one ended.
Yeah.
Oh,
We had toward that very end, we actually had a star pass. So it ended with Caitlin Monahan as holding the star in hand, and then of course it was called.
right, and the little bump from Fräulein.
It was
That's the
very
accident.
sweet because then even Fräulein was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
are you okay? Sorry."
Of course, and
just
and,
checking in, making sure you're good.
and helped Caitlin up, so it worked out.
I love the amount of high fives and hugs and like, "Oh, whoops, sorries," that happen within roller derby.
So we do have a pack advantage as Jam 13 began in favor of Dock City as one blocker from Boston in the penalty box. Pelvis Wrestling with the star for Dock City. And their opposition is Casey McLean. Now lead secured by Casey McLean. Let's see what's going on here. It appears, that was a pack definition. Pelvis Wrestling coming around on their scoring trip. And Agent Mulder using a quick shoulder catch against Pelvis Wrestling. Boston working to recycle. McLean pushing up on that braced 2 wall of Dock City Anchors, proving to live up to their defensive quagmire status.
So, is the team named after? Or did they name themselves Anchors because they're such good anchors, or are they Anchors because that's their team name?
Well,
it's like the which came first, the name or the.
I have a feeling that Dock City, being nautical, an anchor for a ship off of the dock. But
Why-
then it just, I know.
Why you gotta make so much sense?
I mean, I do what I can. It's one of the few times I might make sense because there are many times I do not.
Both of these jammers doing the most to make sense out of all of the blockers happening in front of them.
Okay, and just wanted to point out, I did see we had a penalty assessed to a little something, and it appears perhaps that could be penalty number 7, though it does show the count was a little off on the count that I have. It shows that there were 8, which I think was a duplicate. We had a duplicate.
I mean, you could technically get 8 if you were assessed.
You could if you were assessed 2 at once.
Exactly.
But I don't recall having seen one, though I may have missed it.
I mean, there is a lot of stuff that happmes out there. We
So
are
much.
in the midst of an official review.
Well-
So I'm going to speculate wildly and say that they are.
White team is asking for a multiplayer block on blue jammer.
Okay,
Well,
we'll
there we
see.
go. I don't need to speculate wildly. I was excited to speculate about the fact that they were going to talk about what their favorite cat is,
No,
or
definitely not on the microphone in the infield.
talk about who their favorite Star Wars character is and why. Put together some form of thesis statement with the scientific discoveries to back it up. But I mean, the officials are smarter than me, so let's be real.
And I did want to confirm, because I do see it's correct that Boston has had 2 blockers, not just one, who have fouled out. So it appears that number 8, Aubrey Planets, and number 90, Lil Something, have maxed out their penalty count. So at this time, they will no longer be engaged in gameplay. Now, mind you, we have just over 6 minutes remaining. And on the Dock City side, seeing currently that there are 2 skaters with 3 penalties apiece. There are several others who now have 2. And they have a total of 4 skaters who have just 1 penalty. So really the contrast at this time, the penalties appearing to really drive that wedge in the score gap. But we'll see what the next 6 minutes bring.
All right, so officials have conferred.
Oh, we'll
Decision has been made, it
Ward
appears.
Summer, head referee.
And the captains and stuff are being told.
No call will stand. White will not retain their official review for the second period.
All right, then. So now we know. Official review used, not retained. And we were just talking about RollerCon the other day.
RollerCon.
And I have not yet attended RollerCon.
I was there last year.
Ooh. Well, I hear that it is your roller derby family reunion every summer. 11 and a half tracks, indoor skate park with hundreds of coaches, games, social events, vendors, seminars, clinics, activities, and so much more. See you there. Make sure you check out RollerCon on Facebook. And who knows? Maybe you might run into a few folks on the Big O.
You most certainly have the possibility.
And all of the things being possible at current, Moren out there with the star for Dock City on a scoring trip right now. 4 points up. The jam is called. I do believe Small Fox was right there on Moren's heels. So a good quick call off, taking Dock City to 198 to Boston 76.
Five and a half minutes. Dock City, like you were saying, 198 to 76. Banshee's doing a little bit of counting and math over there. Casey McLean out there with the star. Bowden out there with the star, as we are in jam number 15 of this second half. Bowden fights past that final blocker, picking up lead jammer.
And yes, I was factoring a little bit of math, because there's a interesting lack of contrast in the color that I was looking at on the Boston side of the penalty chart. Just
White on white is a little weird.
yeah, I had to squint a little, and that's not a good thing, but hey, I made it work. Now, I was just checking on those penalty counts, because I was really curious. As we know, it is a definite factor in the outcome of game. Dock City, a total of 16 penalties in the game thus far.
16 penalties for how many players?
That is for their roster of, hang on, let's see who we have.
16 penalties spread amongst 9. That's what I was looking for. There are 9 skaters that have those.
Oh, 9
16.
was penalties, right?
Yes.
I thought you meant over how many were on the actual game day roster.
I realized.
Sorry.
No, I realized my mistake.
Okay, but yes, across 9 skaters. Now, on the Boston side, they have 36 penalties. So 20 penalties more as a team than Dock City really has been that wedge in the score gap, unfortunately. So lead assessed to, acquired by Fräulein F. Reckless of Dock City. Tiger Eye, utilized as a relief jammer in the Sacramento-Boston game yesterday. Nice to have those fresh legs. So Tiger Eye is out there right now with the star for Boston. Stash the star, able to make that initial trip.
And the jam is called. 4 points there for Dock City. Looks like Boston is being held 2-0. With 3 minutes, we want to do a big thank you to Anna for being our first superstar volunteer this weekend. Anna has done more than 15 hours of volunteer work for this Big O 2019. Thank you, Anna.
That's quite the chunk of time.
I mean, we're only like 0.1 into day 2, so that is like basically all day yesterday.
All day. We're talking from every volunteer walking in the door before the public came in. So that's incredible. You know what else is incredible? Pelvis Wrestling versus Lil Payne.
I've been waiting all day. I'm not gonna lie.
Awesome.
I'm all shook up in queue.
Oh, lead acquired by Lil Payne, going for that apex jump, not so casually on turn 2, though. 4 points for Lil Payne. And a drawback on Pelvis Wrestling. Back to turn 1, Pelvis Wrestling going for the hop. Though Agent Mulder back to turn 1. Oh, and to the pivot line. Regrouping with the braced 2-wall. And Pelvis Wrestling working on that seam. Adams joining the crew as the pack does extend out further in the backstretch. Though at the front of the pack, number 421, Patty from the block. Keeping that shoulder dance nice and slow with Lil Payne, though we were seeing a clockwise block call against Lil Payne, though Lil Payne recycled by the Dock City defense. Tina Turner taking the star and working in the turn 3 apex up against a brace 2-wall as Agent Mulder along with Adams and Cruliat Lewis. Maul on that line. A total of 4 points for Boston on that, on that trip, a total of 8. And it was an 8-0 jam for Boston, 84 points to a 208 total for Dock City. An official review has been requested.
So, for those of you at home or somewhere else watching this, it is May 4th. For the Star Wars fans out there, may the 4th be with you. We've already covered this. I am currently wearing my Darth Vader sweatshirt, and I have
space dress on.
I have a space dress on, and I have Rebel leggings. I'm not wearing my Star Wars socks just because I hate socks. And I don't need them right now. However, this is something that you won't be able to see because one of our wonderful camera people is in full Rey cosplay right now.
So we have Rey over there. We've had Leia, not General Leia Organa, but Princess Leia behind us. I don't see her at the moment. Though Princess Leia
Blue
was
is
running
asking
production.
for a penalty on white jump on the previous jump.
Oh, we're hearing the crowd. The Boston, pinch, pinch, pinch. I wonder if Dock City has a cheer. If you happen to know, make sure that you tweet us, #BigO2019.
And if they do have a cheer at me at Find Loose Change, and if it's not in Swedish. I will do my best to
Even if
pronounce.
it isn't
That's
Swedish,
true.
we'll
Let's
give
be
it a whirl.
realistic. I will butcher it 150%, but I will try.
Get that A for effort.
I mean, B probably tops, but I'll give it my best shot.
Oh, we have some too legit to quit going on in the house here.
Hey,
It's always
hey.
interesting.
So
Oh,
I'm
little robot dance moves coming from Dock City.
So I was just I was just going through mentally in my brain for the Dock City Anchors jammer rotation. Fraulein Reckless,
Yes.
0 penalties.
Mm-hmm.
Pelvis Wrestley, 0 penalties.
Mm-hmm.
Moran, 1 penalty.
Correct. Malice
So,
Babs, 1 penalty.
1 penalty. Okay, so then on the Boston Massacre side, Casey McLean, looks like 2 penalties.
Yep.
Little Payne, 0 penalties.
Mm-hmm.
Small Fox, 0 penalties. Loch Ness Monster, is that 3, it looks like?
Yes.
Um,
Brad, Rage Bradbury at 1.
1.
Tiger Eye, none. So
Yeah.
it's really on the blocker end of things that we're seeing the heavyweight of it. All right, it appears that the captains and coaches have been briefed, so we should be hearing from our head referee in just a moment, so we'll give them a moment.
No call will stand on the white jammer. Blue will not retain the official review. Thank you.
There we have it. Patty from the block currently standing in the hit this penalty box. Before you hit the track, hit this. And, the skater is hitting the track. Small Fox working the back of the pack, as is Maran. Cruliat Lewis to the penalty box. And we're seeing lead designation for Small Fox. At about a half lap behind. That is Marin, though, making very quick work. They're able to get in there. Small Fox gets bounced to the infield and maneuvering, or attempting to maneuver, around Olian. But Olian able to take back Small Fox and swirl her into that brace 2 wall. Quite the dynamic defense coming from Dock City. Add 4 points for each jammer.
So, game clock has expired, and now we are just at the jam clock. Less than a minute.
Now, Emily Nolan, in conjunction with Loch Ness Monster and Caitlin Monahan, really just putting those brakes on to Maran, and ever so mindfully defining the pack. We have Cruliat Lewis in the middle.
Joining Cruliat Lewis, looks like that is... Oh, not sure. I thought I saw numbers 421. There
Right,
we
Patty
go.
from
That
the
is
block.
Patty from the block. Looks like 12 points that jam for Dock City. Boston picking up 8. Boston ends this with 92. Dock City taking home the win at 2-20. Still obviously unofficial score as of yet, but
And the joy on Dock City's faces right now. I mean, this is what roller derby is about. They've had a blast, and they walked away with the win. I shouldn't say walked away because they really took all of the lumps in the process, both teams most definitely. So it is official, the final score, 220 Dock City, 92 Boston Massacre. And it has been a blast, but what a game was changed.
oh goodness, that is fun roller derby.
Most definitely, and there is more to come. Please stick with us here at the Big O 2019. And whether it's track 1, 2, or 3, we appreciate having you watch and join us for all of the Derby fun here at the Big O 2019, a WFTDA recognized tournament. I'm Beautiful Banshee.
I am Loose Change. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and may the 4th be with you.
Indeed.